Hey everybody, this is impedecast, episode number
6, I think.
6.
Yeah, I think it's 6. How do we do a show intro?
We just say, I'm Michelle.
Yeah, we've never done anything consistent, I don't think.
No.
I'm Justin.
Hi, Justin.
If this is your first time listening, impedecast is a show where we record in environments that are noisy and where it's hard for us to record and have conversations.
Where are we right now?
Good question. We're in my car.
Where are we headed?
We're going to the Marengo Haunted Barn.
Ooh, just in time for Halloween.
Yeah, current date is October 19th.
This is probably the shortest break between episodes that we've had.
I think so. It's been like, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's prime Halloween time.
Exactly.
So what are you anticipating for this haunted experience?
I'm not anticipating being scared, but
Okay.
I say that now, and then if I end up being scared, I'm gonna feel really stupid. Are you gonna be scared?
I doubt it. Have you ever been to Marengo?
No.
It's just kind of a small town, and this is like, I think it's run by the city, this haunted barn thing.
Ew.
So it's probably not gonna be like over the top.
It's probably gonna be like, I don't know, a charity.
It's all about
family friendly.
paying taxes. Oh.
Right. That's the scariest part about any holiday.
Well, I know that you can get $1 off of admission if you bring a canned good, which I didn't.
I didn't either.
So
I have gummy bears in my purse.
there
Do you
definitely
think
is a
they'll-
charity aspect to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot if I told you I went to a haunted house that was sponsored by the Boy Scouts of America.
I think you did, but you should tell the world about it right now.
So I think it was in Ankeny, which is kind of by where I'm from, and it was also a haunted barn, but they also had a haunted forest type thing happening nearby, and so we did both. And the haunted forest was what was sponsored by the Boy Scouts, and so we entered this forest. It was a little spooky just because it was dark and you're in trees, you know, and there'd be a little ghoul jump out and spook us, and then behind the ghoul there would be a little Boy Scout in his little uniform trying to sell us popcorn, or like sign a petition to keep girls out or whatever.
Is that what they do?
I don't know. These girls keep trying to get in our club. So I guess it was scary.
We're having people sign a petition to fire our gay camp counselor. Yeah, I guess that kind of ruins the vibe if like something tries to scare you and then something is just trying to sell you popcorn right after.
It was very sobering.
It really screws up the momentum. Right?
Yeah. It was not scary at all. There was a scary thing in the barn. You had to crawl over this thing, and it was like glass panes, and you could see under you. And it was like terrariums with spiders and snakes and stuff. And I don't like spiders, so I was cool with the snakes, but the little spider friends being like 4 inches away from my hand was not okay. So that was scary.
Yeah, I don't really remember ever having like a very frightening haunted house experience, but I also haven't been to one in probably 10 years.
Oh, it's been a while.
I think the last time I went to one was, they used to have one in Cedar Rapids in the old police station building, or near the police station. I don't remember the story exactly, but I went there with my friends Jerry and Stephanie one year. Like, I think it was either 2008 or 2009, so it's been a very long time. And I don't remember anything about it.
Okay, sounds like a really great experience.
Yeah, it obviously made an impact. I do remember when I was pretty young, like probably 7 or 8, I went on one of those like haunted hayrack ride things, and that actually I think I was scared, but it's because I was young, and there were like people dressed as zombies like coming out of the cornfields.
Yeah, I would like that because
could be alarming. Yeah.
I get scared about stuff like that when I'm just driving down a dirt road and I'm surrounded by corn.
Oh, yeah.
You never know who's going to jump out. You hear all those stories about people just like jumping out.
If you're listening from afar, we have lots of cornfields around
everywhere.
here. Yeah.
Well, not right now. Everything's dead.
Well, they can't see this. There are cornfields like covering the highway.
Yeah. You
Just
can't even find the road.
Just picture it. I'm driving on corn right now.
We're going through the corn. Very dangerous.
So I don't really have a memorable haunted house experience to talk about, but I thought it might be interesting for us to discuss our greatest fears while we're on the way to the haunted house.
Oh, that's good.
So you've already talked about spiders a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, or do you want to elaborate on your fear of spiders?
Well, I have a spider story.
Okay.
I stuttered a little because
You got nervous.
This story actually, like, whenever I think about it, I'm sweating already. Like, it's really, really bad.
All right. Well, I'll make it a little cooler in the car.
I don't know if I can actually tell this. I think the last time I told this, I passed out. It's no joke.
Everyone can hear the fans turning on in the car now. Just adding some noise to the environment.
Okay, so this happened when I was 18 or 19. I was manager of Dollar General, and it was around Halloween. So we had all our spooky decorations out, but we also had a spider infestation in our store.
Okay,
so we had those big
fake spiders and real spiders.
Right. And we had like what are those big brown spiders that look tarantula-y?
Brown recluse?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we were infested with those. We had to have.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, we had a spray or whatever guy who would come in and spray like weekly. And since I was the manager, I ordered it weekly.
Yeah.
And he set up rat traps to catch these spiders.
Wait, you were managing that store when you were like 19?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. It was a nightmare. Yeah. We had squirrels in the ceiling and shit. It was great. But anyways, we had to have rat traps for the spiders because they didn't stick to the spider traps because they were so big.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very bad. Very
like rat
bad.
traps? Like
no, they
snap
were
ones?
They were the sticky traps.
Okay.
They were these boxes with a clear top so we could see all the spiders that would get stuck in there.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Oh, I'm just thinking about it and I have to pick my feet up, but I'm in a car and I can't. Oh my god, okay. Okay, I'll tell you the story now. Okay. So, we had this lady who was a regular customer. She worked at Prairie Meadows, which was the casino and racetrack down the road. And she would always come in her Prairie Meadows attire, and she always got really dolled up for the holidays. So, she came in with her racetrack garb, and she had these really tight pants. She always had tight pants, and her little stomach pouch would stick out because she'd pull her pants up over it. I always just noticed that because it was just kind of funny, and it's kind of typical of like older ladies,
Sure.
It's very valuable that you know this.
I don't know
story.
where this is going.
How could you ever? So anyways, I was running the cash register, and she came up to my register, set her stuff down, and I was ringing her up, and I noticed she had this brooch on her chest, like where a brooch would be, and it was this like big spider, and it like looked so real that I like freaked out and I froze, and she told me that I looked like I'd just seen a ghost.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, it's fine, because I realized what it was, and it was like a pin on her. And so I like came to and then started ringing her up again, and then this brooch ran from her chest to her stomach pouch on her jeans, like her bulge, and I blacked out and I fell to the ground.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fake.
No, it was one of our spiders.
Okay.
I'm dying.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
Wait, how big was it?
It was like 3 inches wide.
It was just sitting on her.
It was sitting on her,
shoulder.
and it came from the store because I know that it came from our infestation because they were everywhere in our store. Did you see
how she reacted?
She didn't know. She didn't
notice that it ran across her body?
No.
Whoa.
No, because her clothing was so tight. Like her pants were so tight, she would never feel any disturbance on her tight pants.
What?
I can't, like, say, okay, so she had her pants pulled up over her stomach.
Yeah.
So everything was all tightly packed in there. So the spider, when I blacked out, it ended on her crotch area above her pants. So she wouldn't have felt it. Like, it was just on her pants.
Jeez.
It wasn't, like, on her body.
Well, if anything, like, I would think that clothes being tighter would mean that you would feel disturbances on the clothes more.
I would feel it more when it's like a loose garment and it moves.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. But whatever happened. I blacked out. My friend, who was my assistant manager, was ringing someone up behind me, like back to back is how the registers were.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I think she said she caught me or something, but I don't know what happened. And when I woke up, the woman was gone, and I was like, oh my God. I couldn't speak for an hour. Like, I do remember that. I got a bloody nose later that day.
Just from mental trauma?
Yes. I made everyone, like, empty cans of Raid up by the registers because I didn't know if it was here, or my other thought, which terrified me, was that this woman got into her car, not knowing why I had blacked out, not knowing that there was a giant spider on her person, and she got into her car with it, and it was in her car now. Yeah. Like, I still
That's
think about this.
What happened?
That story, that thing that happened that day, is my biggest fear.
Did you ever see her again after that?
No. That's not true. I think I did.
Okay.
But I do have PTSD whenever I see her, which of course isn't often or ever anymore.
Yeah.
But I know that if I ever saw her, like, in a grocery store, I would probably pass out, or at least get a bloody nose.
Yeah, your fear of spiders is very real.
It's the realest thing.
I've seen you, like, drop your phone and run away because you saw a picture of a spider. So.
Yeah, my dad used to text me pictures of spiders that he would find in my room.
Oh.
Like, oh my God, it was the worst thing. He thought it was so funny, but he didn't realize that every time he texted me a picture and I opened it, I threw my phone at a wall.
Yeah.
And, like, broke my phone 10 times. So, not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool.
I'm definitely not as afraid of spiders as you, but I'm not a big fan of them.
Well, we talked about my fear. What's your biggest fear?
I'd say my biggest fear is probably, like, mental illness, which is
that's
not
a good one.
Yeah, and it's more sad than, like, funny.
I get you though.
But, like, I have multiple dementia cases, like, among older family members, and, like, it's very devastating, and I am really scared that I'm gonna just lose my mind.
That's really
and not
sad.
remember anything. Yeah, I know. There's not.
Wow.
It's not as entertaining of a subject, but, like, I'm really afraid that my brain is going to rot.
I mean, it's kind of inevitable for all of us at some point.
That's true. That's true. But, like my grandma got Alzheimer's fairly young, like in her 60s.
That's really young.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm just really scared.
Don't be scared.
of losing my mind.
I'm sad.
Okay, that
Oh
one's
my
not
God.
that one's not as fun to talk about.
Okay, tell us a fun one.
Okay, but I also am somewhat afraid of water.
Elaborate.
So I've never really been able to swim, like, much at all. And I guess, like, I've tried. I can swim okay now. Like, I can stay afloat, you know.
Okay, you can tread water.
I can move around
Doggy
in water.
paddle.
But I'm not, like, fast or anything.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, like, I pretty much couldn't swim at all. Like, I pretty much had no body fat, so, like, it's a lot harder to float
Okay,
when
you just sink like a rock.
when you're just a skeleton, right?
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've gained a little bit of weight, so I can.
So you're buoyant now.
I don't immediately drop to the bottom of the pool.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's safer.
Yeah, and, like, I never had swimming lessons. Did you? I don't know how common that is.
I did for like a day, but I already knew how to swim.
Okay,
It was just like
yeah.
a thing that my parents made me do.
Yeah, it's when I was, like, a teenager, it seemed like every time I would tell somebody, like, yeah, I can't really swim, like, the first question is, well, didn't you take swimming lessons?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't
that was
know
a
they were
universal
thing. Like,
experience.
yeah, I knew people who took swimming lessons for like summers.
I did not ever.
Yeah,
I think my parents just sort of thought it was something that you would just like figure out.
Right. That's
But
what I thought it was.
that was not
too.
the case for me.
Aw.
I did not just figure it out.
Have
You ask your question.
I was gonna say, have you had like an experience where
yeah,
you were in danger, or you felt like you were in danger?
Yeah, felt like it. Probably wasn't
Right,
really,
right.
but sort of was. So when I lived in Lincoln as a kid, my Uncle Gene lives, well, he still lives there, but like a block away from a community pool.
Mm-hmm.
And we had like a Cub Scout event at that pool in the summer or something like that. So I was, again, like 7 or 8. Could be the same year as that haunted hayride.
Traumatizing year.
Yeah. And so there were a bunch of like rowdy boys at the pool, and it's not a very big pool. So I was just like screwing around, like doggy paddling poorly around in the shallower end of the pool, so probably like 4 foot deep.
Right.
And I'm probably like 4'2" or something.
Yeah.
And they were about to have this. Again, I don't know if I need to explain this. They were about to have a greased watermelon competition.
I don't know why I know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I have heard of that.
So, like, they put a bunch of Crisco on a watermelon or something and throw it in the pool, and then everyone
That's
tries.
so sick.
Yeah, it's really gross to describe. And everyone tries to grab this watermelon.
That's disgusting.
It is pretty gross.
What happens when someone catches it? They eat it?
They win, I guess.
They win the watermelon?
But what happened was, I was already in the pool. Somebody threw the watermelon into the pool, and then all of these kids started jumping in the pool on top of me.
No.
So I'm like trying to stay above water, and having kids my age, all bigger than me though, landing on top of me,
Oh my God.
shoving me under the water. None of them doing this intentionally,
Right,
but like,
they want that greased melon.
yeah, they're trying to grab that melon. So I'm just like repeatedly getting
dear.
slammed
there was a deer.
into the water,
Sorry.
trying to like breathe.
Oh God.
I don't remember how I got out of the pool, but like my mom was pregnant with my youngest sister at the time.
Uh-huh.
I remember seeing her like come to the edge of the pool and like yelling.
Oh, she's trying to save you, but she couldn't get in the water because she's pregnant.
She would remember the whole story, I'm sure. I think she got into the pool and like dragged me out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was that bad.
Aw.
So, I mean, I'm not as afraid of water as you are of spiders.
Right.
But I still do have, like, if I'm in like deep water and I start to feel like I'm not staying above the water, like
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a panic in my body. Like, I start freaking out, but then I'm like, if I freak out, I'm just gonna drown immediately. So I'm
understand
able to
that, yeah.
overcome it, but like it is in there still.
I've never had a fear of water, but I've definitely had like situations where I thought I was gonna die because of water.
Yeah.
So I get that. Wave pools.
Oh yeah.
I used to like overly be confident in my swimming abilities when I was a kid because my brother could never swim, and so I like to rub it into space that I could.
Okay.
And so I would get in the deep end of the wave pool at the water park, and then I would like get terrified because I realized everyone around me has like floaties.
Everyone else is on an inner tube or something.
Yeah, and I'm just like a kid, like a 8-year-old kid just in 8 feet of water that's going up to like 11 feet of water.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was a buoyant child,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I never died, but
Yeah.
I felt like I was going to.
Yeah. We're gonna be there in probably like 5 minutes or so.
Oh, okay. Should we take a break?
Yeah.
From
Is there
recording, or do
anything
you
else
have
you
any-
want to get in? We're gonna record in the haunted
Oh,
house.
yeah, of course.
By the way.
Definitely.
I assume repeat listeners know our kind of what our MO is on this show.
Yeah.
We're gonna record as we go through the haunted house.
It's gonna be so
Get that
spooky.
experience on tape.
Yeah. I hope I don't scream like a baby.
I do want to talk about like nightmares and recurring dreams that we've had over our lives, but we could maybe save that for the ride home.
Oh, okay.
So
That works.
we'll think about that while we're in there, and
Okay,
then we'll
cool.
get that.
I think I have some good ones.
Yeah, I've got dreams I remember from way back, like when I was probably like 2 or 3, that I still remember.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Those
just
must
like
be pretty
these vague,
scary.
terrifying memories.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yeah. So we'll get to that later.
We'll be back.
Okay. Bye. Alright, there are rules to this haunted barn.
No smoking.
No flashlights or cell phones.
Do not touch the spooks. The spooks will not touch you.
You touch the spooks and you will be physically escorted off the property.
No running, it's dark in there.
Strobe lights in use may cause seizures. I'm not sure, it's not much of a rule.
Have fun. Don't be a mood kill and don't die.
We don't care if the last place you went to was way better.
We are not responsible for lost or stolen items or clowns in your backseat.
Oh, fortunately I locked the doors. Alright, and friendsofmarengo@gmail.com. That's
Check
the
'em
last
out.
rule. Alright, we're waiting in line, so we'll start up again once we get in.
Please don't pee your pants.
I want to be in a group.
You guys want to come with us?
Yes.
Uh-oh, police are here.
Uh-oh.
Yay. Please arrest me.
You're that afraid of the haunted house?
You'd
You'd rather go to jail?
Yes, I'd rather go to jail. I'd rather sit on the street than go to school.
You know what? That's a good point. I'd rather go to jail than work.
My mom's a police officer.
Oh, so if you went to jail, you could just hang out with your mom.
Yep, every single day.
That'd be pretty sweet. I think I invited them to come with us. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Alright.
If we can.
Of course. Have you ever been to a haunted house?
I have. I've only been to once, and I flew backwards from a fat guy. It was changed. It was chained, and he was a clown.
Oh, so he was part of the haunt.
Yeah, and I flew backwards. Onto my cousin.
Oh.
I'm actually scared. Oh, I'm gonna step on my freaking toes. Behind there.
You asked me the police is part of the haunted house.
Yeah. I got scared when they pulled up.
So I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
Call the porta potty first. Oh, I think I would rather pee my pants than go to the bathroom. I guess so. Well, you're creepy. Not creepy. I just would rather pee my pants. I'm gonna end up peeing my pants at the end.
You're next! Ah!
Oh. Oh boy.
Get out while you can!
Trying.
Hello, children.
Hello.
Come to play?
Sure.
Step right this way.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the walls are pretty close together
I
here.
know it. Ooh. Triggering this right over here.
Yeah.
Not be touching it. Dangerous wall.
Alright, you see any humans in here?
Are we playing which one's a human in these rooms?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's a nice different hand.
Which way do we go?
It says this way. Is the wrong way?
Is there a way through here?
Are they connected? Oh. What's that guy? He jumps around. Oh, okay.
There's a step down here, by the way.
Alright.
Okay, so here's a wall. Oh.
And there's that.
Hey there.
Okay. Oh, I guess. What? Did I just touch a person or?
You're not allowed to touch it.
Hey, what's going on there?
Oh, I did touch a person. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know if this will touch you, but.
Oh, okay. Some air.
Bump into this, that's fine.
Don't sue me.
Don't leave me. Thank you. Excuse me. Well.
Oh, did you see his dress?
Yeah, it's real nice.
Is
Nice.
this the,
Excuse me, sir.
ups and downsies over here? Oh, uneven ground. Okay.
Boy, it's dark in here.
Goodness. Oh, I like that there is some like glow in the dark.
Oh, shit!
Is there a way out?
I think go this other way.
We gotta go that way.
I think so. Oh, thank you. Should we go through here? Oh. Hi.
Hello.
Enjoying the decorations.
Spider share.
Oh my god, that's so good. Oh my god. That's my favorite.
Jeez.
Am I going the right way?
Yeah, I think you're okay.
Ooh. Oh, there's gonna be a kid in here. Oh. Oh my god. Do I go this way?
Don't touch my dog!
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I should have known.
Yeah.
That was pretty rude of me.
Don't touch someone's children like that.
Oh, I don't like this room.
Yeah.
Where did I go? Oh, there's someone behind you.
Oh, this is close.
Oh my god. Wait, where did I go? Wait, come back, person.
It's a little dark in here.
Man, come back. I'm what? Oh, this is a wall. Oh, there's someone right here.
Yeah.
Is this a person?
Hey guys, you wanna be my friend?
If you can show
I
us
know,
the
if
way
you can
out.
help me.
Slinky wants a friend!
Is this a person? Am I touching a person's body?
Yeah,
Well, how do I get through?
it's weird!
Wait,
Uh,
am I supposed to push you? Am I supposed to get through you? Wait, where?
it's me touching your shoulder.
I know.
Okay.
I
You
know.
guys wanna see my cheerleader friend?
Kind of.
Okay.
Is it gonna be light?
She had a rough day.
Oh God.
Okay.
Okay. Wait, where are you? Do I have to go? Do I have to walk?
Oh,
Oh,
you.
I'm so sorry. I keep touching people and it's on the rules.
Yeah. It's really dark in here.
Wait.
We can see you.
No, you can't. Can you really?
Do you have night vision goggles or something?
Slinky can see all kinds of things.
Are you a kitty?
Oh, here's a wall. Wait, what the hell? Oh, someone's pushing. Right
Yeah,
here?
something's
What is something?
touching me.
Wait, where do we go? I'm so lost. Am I supposed to go this way?
Go this way!
Wait, what? This by you?
Yeah.
Is that a door right here?
Oh, here.
That way.
Oh, I just.
Okay,
That way.
Follow him, follow him.
Okay, okay.
That way.
Oh, okay, this way.
That way.
Oh my God, I am so bad at directions.
It's really dark. I'm just trying not to lose you.
I know. No, that's totally. Oh my God, what the hell is that? Oh, it's just a piece of cloth.
Are you sure?
I don't know. It's probably a leg.
Oh.
Oh
This
shit.
is not.
Oh, there's the cheerleader.
Oh.
Yeah!
Took us a while to
That's
get
really
to you.
good.
Go that way!
Okay.
My friends are way better down there!
Check out these other.
Oh, hey, look.
This is interesting.
I can kind
Vibrating floor.
of. Oh, I think it's like the electricity. This is getting
Yeah.
electrically.
Yeah!
Oh my God. Oh.
Somebody want to go faster!
Oh God. Okay.
We might want to go faster.
Oh shoot. Look at all like it's all little girls behind us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
54.
they're probably running.
Oh God, you're right.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
There's I can see again.
Okay.
Do I want to?
Well, now it's gonna get dark again. I'm not gonna.
No!
Whoa.
Now I'm not gonna be able to see.
You're gonna get it now.
Oh shoot. Oh, there's someone. Okay. Oh, no, where do we go? Where do we go?
find your way.
This way,
Oh
this way,
shoot.
this way, this way.
Okay. Oh God. Okay.
All right. Oh, goodness. Good.
Oh my God. god, my shoes almost came off, both of them.
Do you want to guess how long that was?
No. 5 minutes?
That was about 7.5 minutes.
That was pretty long.
It took us, yeah. Okay, so that was the Marengo Haunted Barn.
My ears are ringing.
Actually,
for that
pretty scary.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I let you go in front most of the time. Okay, so that was that. Now we're getting in the car. Okay.
Reign in your mortal body, that ye should obey it to the lust thereof. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body. Reckon yourselves to be dead. Now what does the word reckon mean? The word reckon is a bookkeeping term, just like a man reckons a balance on a ledger. What Paul is saying here is bank on it.
Okay, so we're safely in the car now.
What'd you think?
Thought, yeah, we should give a review of what everyone just heard, but they didn't see anything that we were seeing.
Right. There was a lot of things to see, and a lot of things that we didn't see because it was pitch black in
It's
a lot
really
of
dark
parts.
in there. So while we were waiting in line, actually, Michele mentioned that she's afraid of the dark, and
Yeah.
it turns out me too.
Yeah. That was, it wasn't scary in the sense that I felt in danger. It was just scary because I don't like not knowing where I am.
Right, yeah, I don't know if this was intentional, but there are parts of this haunted house where you don't know where you're supposed to go,
Yeah.
and you can't see anything.
I think it's intentional.
Yeah, I mean,
It's fear-inducing.
that is like something scary in a way.
Yeah.
I just couldn't tell if it was supposed to be part of the experience or if it was like just they didn't design that part.
Right.
So
I
well, I don't know.
I know we read the rules and guidelines before we went in, and one of the rules was that we're not supposed to touch the people and they don't touch us, but they were definitely touching me a lot.
Oh.
And I was definitely touching them a lot because I was feeling around in the pitch black, and I would like reach out and I'd be like, that's a man's chest. I guess I need to go the other way.
Yeah.
And then they would, like, if I got lost, they would push on me with their whole body to, like, lead me. And I thought that was kind of weird, but I think they were just trying to be helpful. Like, go this way.
So
know?
it wasn't, like, gropey?
Oh, no. They didn't touch me with their hands at all. They were just, guiding, I think.
But you definitely touched them with your hands.
I was groping.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some beefcakes in there. I'm just kidding. They were all, like, squishy.
They're all big, yeah.
They were all really squishy.
Yeah, there
It was nice.
some good actors in there. I mean, I jumped and yelled a few times.
Yeah, me too.
It definitely got me.
Yeah. I'm more of a jump person when it's like just they jump out and it's like just a sudden flash of light and a scream.
They did that pretty close to the end, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a dude with like a spooky mask that would light up, and he just like jumped right in your face and turned the mask on and yelled.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did that to you and not me.
Oh yeah, that was the one with the glowy eyes. Like when we were turning at one point, and he just like flashed. It looked like he just flashed a mask out, and I don't even know if there was a person attached to it. It just looked like a glowing mask.
I think it was attached to his head. I could probably see him a little bit better than you because he was right up in your face.
Yeah, he was right in my face. As were a lot of those people. They really got close.
They get close, yeah. For not supposed to touch.
And they definitely did touch me.
Were very close.
Yeah. They actually got so close that they did touch me. A lot.
Yeah. So, and there was.
It's nice to feel that.
I'm sure you heard.
Warmth,
I'm sure you heard the chainsaw at the end.
Yeah.
That actually
was nice.
Does not really scare me.
No. And I
think
really enjoyed the smell.
Yeah, it was really burning gas.
It was.
But like seeing a chainsaw in a haunted house, kind of like Halloween attraction. It's like I know that it doesn't have a chain on it.
Exactly.
So like I'm not.
It's expected 100% of the time.
I'm not afraid you're gonna hurt me. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Because legally, I mean, there was a cop there.
True.
So,
there was a cop.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the ghouls didn't know that.
The cop did not go inside with me, but...
No, he didn't. And I told those little girls that I would let them come with us, but then at the last minute, I said no.
Well, the lady at the lady...
She asked how many people were in our group.
Well, no, she didn't say that. She said, so 2? She did.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't give us, like...
And we're like, yep.
Yeah.
And the little girls were like, what did they say? Did they say 2? Are they just going alone?
Well, look, to be
And
fair,
we're like, yeah,
that girl said that she had been there before, so she was ready
Right.
for it more than I was.
that's true.
You know, I hope I'm driving the right way. So we can get into other fears, which is the fear of getting lost in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Is there any other things we want to talk about in that haunted house that you have on the top of your mind?
I did like at the very end when Freddy had the chainsaw.
Right, the chainsaw guy was dressed
It was
as Freddy Krueger. Yeah, yeah.
But we were in a room that looked like it had no exit, and we said, "Where do we go?" And he said, "You have to find your way," and he pointed directly at the door. And so we're like, "Okay, thank you, Freddy Krueger," and then we left, and then he chased us out with the chainsaw, and then another man came behind him with another chainsaw. We were being chased by
there
two
were
chainsaws.
two? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there was just like
I didn't
there
turn
was
around.
Freddy Krueger behind us, and then some man, just like George. Just he was just wearing street clothes.
Okay.
He was just the neighbor who actually had a real chainsaw. Who wanted to get on all the fun.
Oh no.
So he might have actually, I don't know, he might have a slaughterhouse of people by the end of this season.
Yeah. So the scariest thing to me was there was a lady, and like everything was dark, so I couldn't get like a good view of what exactly was happening. But she looked like she was on a shelf and was a decoration.
Yeah, she looked like a doll.
She looked small.
She looked so small.
And
That's what freaked me out. I said hi to her when we walked in, but then I was like, oh,
I thought she was
she's a
fake.
tiny porcelain doll.
Like, I don't know that I've ever actually been fooled like that since I was a kid. Like, of course, they always, like, sit there and pretend that they're, like, a dummy.
Yeah, like the girl
so that
in
they
the
can,
coffin.
So they can jump and be like,
Right.
oh, well, gotcha. But this time, it really got me.
Yeah.
And I screamed fuck right in her face.
And she's probably, like, 6 years old.
No.
I know, she looked like a grown woman, but she was tiny.
There was some
She
weird
had a really small
trick going
head.
on. She must have had her head, like, in a
fishbowl.
statue or something. I don't know.
In a glass of water.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but like you saw that too.
Yeah,
like
she had a very
looked
small, tiny head.
She looked like she was a little like statuette. And,
Yeah, that was kind of creepy.
and then she screamed like a
Just 'cause
high pitched,
all she did was open her eyes and scream.
high pitched Halloween scream.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
She got me good.
I thought that was a good production.
Yeah, they did great.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, and we
Would
spent.
have liked more groping and fondling, but
you wish
know.
that they grabbed you back.
Right. It's nice to be reciprocated sometimes.
Which one was your favorite to touch?
There was a squishy guy at the end who was very warm. He might have been the same guy who had the glowing face paint on. He was very round, had a big round head.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was squishy. I remember feeling a person who felt like what he looked like. But it was dark and I couldn't see, so I don't know if it was him. But
Okay, so you like squishy guys?
I think I do now. I didn't know I did,
wasn't,
but
this
it
awoke
wasn't
that in you.
pre-existing condition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Cool. So we're learning
I have a type
more
now, I
about you.
guess.
Yeah.
Scary big dudes.
Squishy, scary big
Squishy
dudes.
and warm.
Yeah. Okay.
Warm, scary, big boys.
The Haunted Barn did actually remind me of another fear that I have a little bit, which is I'm a little bit like claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And there were spaces in there where the walls were pretty close together,
Like almost shoulder to shoulder.
Like you and I are both pretty like narrow people.
Yeah.
And it was
I think if
tight.
a normal
like
or
if
like
that squishy guy wouldn't have fit through. I
he
don't
could
think.
not ever make it through there.
Yeah, it was pretty tight.
Yeah. The walls were cardboard though, so they gave.
Maybe they move it like
Yeah.
when they see like who's coming in.
Oh my god, maybe.
They make it smaller for
They're like,
smaller
it's a
people.
big fatty, widen the hallways.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I've never worked on a haunted house, but like I wonder what sort of like how do the actors communicate with each other in the dark and loud space? Because they have to be able to like pace the house correctly.
They did at one
And, like,
point
if something
say,
bad
go
happens-
faster, because the little girls were behind us probably running through the thing, and we had to go faster.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. But if somebody just like collapses on the ground, I assume they have to do something about that, right?
Drag their corpse out, I guess.
Yeah.
Cut it up with a chainsaw and dissolve it in some hydrochloric acid and put in a bin and throw it in the river and that's pretty much it, I guess.
You think the city of Marengo is like hiding bodies?
Well, if they die in their hands, then
You gotta do something.
I mean, yeah, you can't just let it sit.
Yeah. So are you claustrophobic at all?
I don't think so. I think the only time I ever feel claustrophobic is when I'm like watching a movie where someone is holding their breath underwater and going through like a tight hole.
Oh, yeah.
That's really the only time I ever get that reflex.
I know people that like freak out on elevators. And,
Oh,
like,
wow.
Geez,
That would be a hard life to live.
I think I was in high school and I went through a cave at like some sort of camp site. I don't know. I went through a cave and there are parts of the cave where you have to crawl through. And yeah.
I don't think I would like that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know how I like pushed through that, but there's like I was in a line of kids and we each had to just go through this like tight tunnel and
I don't
crawl
like that.
through it. And there's
I don't
people
like that.
in front of and behind me.
No.
So like
No.
like if one of them gets stuck, I'm stuck,
Yeah.
right?
Forever.
I don't think I could ever do that again, actually.
No, that's,
now that I'm
that's
thinking
making my
about
stomach
it.
hurt. I don't like that.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So that's what that reminded me of when we were in the house. I was like, man, if Michelle gets stuck between these tight walls, I'm here forever.
Yeah. That's where I am now. I did have a claustrophobic moment, I think, once in my life. And it was when I was a really little kid and we had this big golden retriever. And I used to, like, sleep in a sleeping bag just on the floor to go camping. Like, quote, camp on the floor. And so I was nestled in my sleeping bag and I just decided that I would crawl to the very bottom. So I crawled to the bottom and curled up in a ball, and then my big fluffy dog laid on the opening.
Oh no.
And I couldn't get out.
Oh man, that's
and
really
no one
scary.
was home to save me, and I couldn't push my big dog off of the hole. And he loved sleeping bags, so he's rolling around like on this slick material. He was loving it, and I was screaming.
That's
I was
really
like,
scary.
"Buddy, get off of me! I'm gonna die!"
Oh,
and he doesn't
man.
know what any of those words mean.
Yeah,
so
he thinks
was
you're
just-
playing with him.
Oh, he loved it. He
Your
was
voice
having
is
a
going
blast.
higher, so he's like,
yeah,
oh yeah.
He's like, "Yay, I'm doing good. I'm a good
Yeah.
boy."
Oh man.
Yeah, so that was the only time I've ever felt claustrophobic.
That's really scary.
Yeah, I think about that sometimes.
Yeah, that reminds me, we're just like following like a series of stories now.
Oh, yeah.
That reminds me of being in a sleeping bag. So I think this was like first grade. A bunch of boys in my class stayed the night at this kid's house. I think his name was Nick. It's been a very long time since I thought about this, but we basically played PlayStation for most of the night, but part of the night was like he had like the entrance to his house was here, and then it was sort of a split level house, so you go up the stairs to the most of the house and then down the stairs to the basement area.
Yeah, that was how
And
my house was. My dog tried to kill me.
Part of the night was we were zipping each other up all the way in sleeping bags and then just like throwing each other down the stairs.
Oh my god. I mean, I definitely like sled downstairs in a sleeping bag.
Yeah, it
but
was
I
like
don't
that.
think I was ever physically like thrown.
Well,
against
you
my
know,
will.
more like pushed.
Right.
So you slide down
Yeah.
because the sleeping bag is sort of like a
Slick.
slicky material,
Yeah,
and you
it's
just
good.
slide right down the stairs. But yeah, probably we could have killed each other, right?
Oh, definitely.
Like we're trapped in a bag and like hitting our heads on the stairs.
Yeah.
We could have like broke our necks or something.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I did used to slide down my stairs on my back backwards, though. Like, that's just how I got down the stairs when I was a kid.
So your head hits the floor.
Yeah, and I would
really
do it
hard.
on my stomach and chest, too, and just go face forward down the stairs.
Yeah.
And I would... My mom hated when I did this because she said I looked like a demon crawling down the stairs, but I would crawl down the stairs on my hands and knees. Or on my hands and feet. Just like...
face down? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
facing down.
If it's face up, have you seen The Exorcist?
Oh, yeah.
Because she does that. She does like a backwards
Well, I didn't do it backwards.
crab walk
I just
down the
did
stairs.
it normally, like a...
Has your mom seen that? Because maybe you were reminding her of that.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was hard. I started doing it because I sympathized for my pets who had to go down the stairs that way, and I got like nervous that they were going to flip over. And so I was like, well, if they're doing it, I'm certainly doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. You have solidarity
I'm
with your
very
pets.
empathetic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With
so
animals,
I did that for
though,
years.
Not with people.
Yeah, that's like the only way I would go up or downstairs for many years. Yeah, I was a real sicko.
So another subject that we wanted to talk about tonight with the Halloween theme and fear and all that was nightmares and like recurring dreams.
Ooh.
So, do you have any in mind that you want to start off with?
I have a quick one.
Okay.
So this is something that's happening recently because I have not been sleeping because I have these really aggressively loud neighbors like I talked about in our last episode.
Yeah.
So that's still going on even though I talked to my landlord about it, but he's been out of town all week, so he hasn't been able to do anything.
Yeah. So it hasn't really changed at all.
Yeah, so nothing's changed. This week has been even worse just because they know he's out of town, and so yeah, they were doing karaoke until 3 a.m. like 2 days ago. No, this is Sunday.
Just the two of them?
Just the woman, actually.
Oh my god, just
I have it recorded on my phone.
Single player karaoke.
Yeah. The first thing she sang, the first song she sang was My Heart Will Go On.
Nice.
She sang it 3 times to perfect it, I guess, but I recorded one of them in full on my phone, and then she was singing a bunch of other stuff. But anyways, so this thing that's been happening because I've been so sleep deprived and I had to look into it to see that I wasn't going crazy. Turns out I am going crazy. I've been having dreams while I'm awake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if they're really
So
dreams.
You're
because,
sort of hallucinating?
Yeah.
From sleep deprivation?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just chugged an energy drink on my way to your house before we left.
On the drive that takes about 3 minutes.
3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was drinking it at work and then I continued to chug it on my way. So anyways, I'm doing fine. But the thing that's happening is there'll be like a dark figure that just comes at me. And I can't pinpoint it and I don't know when it's going to happen. And I don't know what it is. It doesn't have a form, like a distinct form. It's just like a dark shadow, or it's not even a shadow because it's not like hazy or anything. It's just like a dark figure that comes from either side and just comes directly into my face.
Whoa.
You look shocked.
That's the real shit.
Oh,
Wow.
it's super real. Because it happens while I'm driving sometimes, which it's very bad because
How do you react when this happens?
I kind of...
Do you know how many times it's happened?
Probably 50.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. I'm thinking it may have happened in the haunted house, but it was so dark in there I wouldn't have seen it anyways.
Yeah.
But that's another thing though, is I don't know if it like totally consumes my vision or if it's just like dark. I can't even explain it because I've never had a dream about anything like that.
Yeah.
I've only just started seeing it. And it's big. It's like a big thing that comes from like it can come from a field and it'll just come at me, but so fast, like hyperspeed.
Yeah. I think that's actually like a pretty common sort of hallucination for people.
Ugh. Yeah, it's nice.
I've heard of a thing called like shadow people. Oh fuck.
Oh my god, we're about to crash.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, what's shadow people?
So on the way here, let's just plug your appearance on the Michael Deacon show tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So tomorrow, I mean, it's gonna be, I don't know.
I'll probably put this out tonight, so.
Oh, cool.
There
okay.
may be people who listen to this before then.
So yeah, if you listen to this before Saturday night, I will be on a program called End of Days, the Michael Deacon program, and I think it can be, I don't know where it can be found live, but it's a live show. It's 3 hours, so I'm gonna have to have a lot of energy drinks for that.
And Deacon is, how's that spelled?
DECON.
Okay.
Yeah. So michaeldeacon.com. I'm sure you can find the live stream there.
Yeah.
But he basically has a show where he gets a lot of guests who come in who they either are knowledgeable about like a weird paranormal or extraterrestrial or just a weird conspiracy theory. They'll just come in and talk and he just interviews them basically. So yeah, that's the thing. And I might bring up my weird dream
I think you should. I bet the people there will know like what you're talking about.
That'd be nice because he does get callers who will call in about the subjects that he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because he has a bunch of weirdo followers.
Yeah, when
which
you were...
I'm one of his weirdo followers now. But I would love if I told him that and someone listening knew or experienced it. I would love to hear their story to see where this is going.
Yeah. So when you were telling me about the show that you're going to be on, it reminds me of Coast to Coast, which is a show that I listened to in my late teens and early 20s because it would come on the radio at 3 a.m. when I was hanging out with my friends just driving around. And it used to be hosted by this guy, Art Bell, who's a real conspiracy theory kind of crazy dude. And now it's hosted by George Newry. Those details are not really important. But yeah, one of the recurring subjects is shadow people, which is people see like what you're saying, black sort of forms in their peripheral vision, and they hallucinate this stuff. Or some of them don't believe they're hallucinating.
I definitely I know it's sleep deprivation. Yeah. I hope that's the reason. And
that's honestly very scary.
Oh, it's terrifying. And the first time that it happened, I was like, I'm being possessed by a demon.
Yeah. Which you have been
tried
before.
to. Oh, yeah, exactly. Which I haven't. So I'm familiar with that. Yeah. But I never have seen anything like this.
Yeah.
And now I'm just kind of, that's just part of life now.
It's
and I'm hoping that maybe someday I'll catch up on my sleep and it'll go away. But for the time being, I'm just taking it day by day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a scary dream. What's your scary dream?
Yeah, you started it off with a bang. So this is basically the earliest thing I can remember being afraid of. I know when I was really little, I would have night terrors, and these are things my parents have told me, but I would just wake up in the middle of the night screaming, and my mom would have to help me calm down.
How old were you talking?
2, 3, I think.
Aww.
Yeah. And it happened frequently, I think, but I don't really remember that part of it. But I do remember.
Do you need me to hold the steering wheel? Or
No, I'm good. I'm just taking my coat off. I'm getting too warm from thinking about the shadow people.
Oh God.
Okay, so I remember having more than one dream about a big, black, hairy form with glowing red eyes.
Oh.
And very vivid dreams where I'm in my bedroom and I can see this big hulking hairy monster staring at me in the middle of the night, and that's probably what I was screaming about. But I remember seeing that in my dreams a lot when I was really young, and even thinking about that image now is scary to me.
It's like the monster in your closet.
Despite being an adult and not actually dreaming about it for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then I also remember being afraid of washing machine and dryer noises.
Okay.
When they you know how sometimes if there's a big piece of clothing in there and it starts bump, 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 banging really loud. I remember being afraid of those and that being tied into those dreams. Just that repeating clanging noises from the basement or whatever.
It's like the furnace in Home Alone.
Yeah. I had dreams like that a lot when I was really little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, not as scary as yours. Do you have another one that you want to do?
I do have another one that I think this is a dream that's been passed on from my mom, which is really weird.
Yeah.
When I was little, probably 6 or so, I was afraid of spiders then too, of course. But she would always say that she would have a dream that there was a spider on the ceiling or on the wall, and then when she would wake up, there would be a spider on the ceiling or on the wall. And so that freaked me out because I was like, okay, well, either she, I wanted to get logical here. Either she woke up a little bit briefly in her sleep and saw a little spider on the wall and then fell back asleep and then dreamt it. Or my mom knows when there is a spider on the wall at any point in her life, she just knows that there's a spider in the room.
Yeah, she has a sense for it.
Yeah, so because I thought that so strongly, I now have the sense, and I know when there's a spider in a room. And I haven't had it in a while, but I used to have dreams where there would be a spider somewhere, anywhere in my dream there'd be a spider. And then I would have to wake up and find the spider in my room. And I would have to go, when I was younger, I would go get my dad and have him check my room until he found a spider. Otherwise I couldn't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And he would always find one.
Well, I don't mean to, like, bother you, but you know that spiders are everywhere, right?
Yeah, don't.
You've
Don't.
heard that before, I
I've heard
assume.
it before,
Okay.
but no. Stop.
They're,
I don't want to hear it. I
they're
don't
all
want to
over
hear
the
it.
place.
I don't want to hear it. I don't buy into the garble about how you eat 8 spiders in your sleep every year.
Well, I don't know
because
how you'd verify that.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
I sleep with, because of that, I sleep with my blanket, like, duct tape over my mouth.
Yeah, I just sleep with my mouth full.
Just full of food.
Like, yeah. I eat dinner, I don't finish, and that's when I go to sleep.
Oh my god. Just a chicken nugget in there for the spiders.
I keep my mouth totally full so that the spiders can't go inside.
It's
There's
even
no room.
worse.
Why is that worse?
I don't know. I'd rather eat a friggin' spider than like choke on a nugget.
You would rather eat a spider?
No, okay. Unknowingly,
I don't think
maybe.
so.
I don't think I would either. But when I was a baby, my mom would come into my room and she would just find Daddy Longlegs parts scattered all over my crib because I would tear their legs off.
Ugh.
And so she would just find like, oh, there's the body. There's all the little twitching legs.
I remember doing that.
Just covered, her little baby girl just covered in spiders.
I remember tearing the legs off of Daddy Longlegs when I was like 5 or something.
I
like,
never remember doing that.
Adults saw me doing that and like didn't
That's so sick.
didn't discourage me.
That's the sickest thing.
It's such a serial killer behavior.
I get sick thinking about the fact that my mom regularly would come in, see her baby girl covered in spiders, and kept putting me back in that crib on Spider Row, just letting me tear apart these beasts.
Daddy Longlegs are not really spiders.
But think about this.
I mean, they look like spiders, right? But they're different.
I need you to step inside my brain really quick.
Okay.
And this is what I think about. Like, I get teary-eyed when I think about this. I hate spiders. I want them all to be dead. But think about the little tiny round spider head body of a Daddy Longlegs, okay?
Just a red orb.
Just a little orb.
Yeah.
Now think about someone individually plucking all of their legs off.
Yeah.
And then just setting the body there.
Oh, man.
What does it do? It's still conscious and it still knows that it's a being, but it can't do shit.
That's some real horror.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
It makes me, I'm tearing up. I'm so sad.
Yeah. It's messed up.
I know. Or just leaving one leg on
It seems like kids...
And it just has to drag its body on the ground with one leg.
Kids just have an instinct to rip those legs off.
Oh, God. I hate it so much. It's so devastating.
Yeah. When you said step into my brain, that reminded me that somebody, while we were in the when we were in the haunted house, somebody stepped on my heel while we were walking.
Oh my God, they're not allowed to do
They were
that.
walking very close to me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're just a bunch of like pedophiles in there, like touchy feelers.
I hope not, because there were two
Literally just rubbing
very
their
young
bodies
girls
on me.
after us.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully they were not.
I know.
Into
No, I
that.
didn't even think about that, but they were actually just like pushing their bodies against me. And I didn't at the time think that
Well,
it was
now you think
anything
it was
sexual.
sexual.
But now that I think about
Now
it,
you do.
That thing draws kids in.
I will say,
They were rubbing their entire body against my entire body.
I don't think any of them did that to me. So,
Okay.
so they were into you and not me.
I'm sorry.
Which, I mean, not the first time, but
I don't know. I don't know how I feel anymore.
now you do think it was. They were into it.
I really don't.
Okay.
I think I'm just being pessimistic.
Okay. All right. Wait.
I want to think that it was really innocent and they were just trying to guide me.
That's what I thought. They're just trying to
With
nudge
their
us in the right direction.
Entire frontal body.
Full frontal contact.
Full frontal contact.
Yeah. I do have another dream
let's
thing
hear it.
that I can talk about. Are you familiar with sleep paralysis?
Yes.
Have you ever experienced
No.
it? It sucks.
Oh God. Okay, I'm really curious.
It's happened to me a few times. I can't really pinpoint exactly when, but I just know I've had it happen a few times in my life.
Uh-oh.
So sleep paralysis is like you think you are awake. You think you've woken up.
Uh-huh.
But like you realize you can't move, like you can't get up out of bed. And in my case, every time it's happened, I also can't speak or make any sort of noise
Oh
with my
my
mouth.
God, It's like you're in a coma.
So that alone is like pretty like alarming. Like I can't move or make any sound.
But are you still dreaming?
Yeah, it's like you partially wake up.
You're in the in-between of sleep and dream, or awake and dreams.
Yeah. You think like you're fully experiencing this, but it's like still your subconscious doing this to you. And like that alone, you can't move, you can't speak, it's pretty scary. But then usually when people experience this, like something really, really scary happens to them while they're in this state and they can't do anything about it. Yeah, and then like the most common thing is like something is sitting on you.
Oh my god.
Like a demon or something. You know?
Or like a silly turtle.
Yeah, sure. I don't know that that's ever happened to somebody, but
I don't want it to be all scary.
In my case, like I think this has happened to me like when I've had a fever or something. And the one that I remember very specifically is when I was like probably 9 or 10, and I think I fell asleep in the living room while I was sick, and my dream was like I ended up on the floor, not able to move, and then there were people standing around me, and I think they were like my friends, but they, I guess, had magical powers
they wouldn't
or something,
let you up.
And I levitated off the ground and started rolling back and forth, and like I didn't want this to be happening to me. I had no control over my body as this was happening.
Oh my god.
I couldn't like move my arms or legs at all.
Right.
So in the dream I was screaming like, help, stop doing this, but I couldn't actually scream. So I felt like I was screaming, but nothing was coming out.
Right.
And then I just woke up with that just in my head.
That is scary.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I hope I don't experience that. Well, I don't sleep, so how can I have sleep paralysis?
Yeah, it's not going to happen to you now. And then like a few months ago, I remember I woke up yelling.
I think you or Ashley told me about this.
I think I did. Like I woke up and like I just like sat straight up and was like, ah. But I don't remember anything before that. So
you don't know why you screamed.
I don't know, but I think it was a similar kind of dream. Like I wasn't able to scream, so then like I woke up and screamed because it was like built up inside me and not able to come out.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's probably the scariest dreams I've ever had.
Spooky. I don't like
that because it's like you think it's real,
right? Like
it's happening.
Like the falling dreams, where you suddenly like drop off. Of something. That's usually like how I get jolted awake, is by like a drop off dream. Yeah.
Wait, usually that's how you wake up?
Yeah.
Like, well, because a majority of the time when you wake up from sleep, it's that.
Yeah, nowadays. Because when I do fall asleep, my friend was texting me the other day. We have like a group chat, and he was getting a sleep study done, I think. And he's like, how many hours per night of sleep do you guys get? And I was like, I would say maybe 1.5 to 2 hours in 20-minute increments.
That is insane.
Yeah, and he was like...
You cannot live like that.
No. He's like, I'm looking for serious answers only, please. And I was like, what part of my life don't you understand? And so that was when I started recording the karaoke session.
Yeah.
Because I was recording it, sending it to the group chat, recording it, sending all night long, and I was like, do you believe me now?
Do you want to like sleep on our couch or something?
No, it's okay. I am going to my parents' house to sleep tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good.
So, or no, was I supposed to do that tonight?
We drove like halfway there, but now we're back in Coralville.
Yeah, that's not even worth it. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, any more dreams you want to talk about, or?
I feel like I maybe had another dream.
That's probably all of mine that are like interesting. Yeah. I do have the recurring stress dreams about like being in school again and not knowing where any of my classes are.
Oh.
And like
I hate those.
You spend a whole day trying to find one class.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that a lot.
I had those dreams.
I haven't been in school for like 4 years now at all.
Yeah.
And I still have these classroom dreams.
Yeah, me too. I still have the going to school and work naked dreams. I had a wake dream.
That hasn't happened to me much. I've had like 1 or 2 of those in my life.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of those, but I did have a wake dream, is what I'll call it, not the jumping out at me thing, but I did have an awake dream where I was driving home from work. Actually, not asleep driving, but I was driving.
In real life,
In real life, I was driving home from work, and I like stopped at a red light, and I was like, "Oh shoot! I left my car at work." and I like thought this for moments, and I almost even turned around to go get my car.
To go get your car, to drive back to your car.
To drive my car that I was in.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, you are losing your shit, I think.
So bad. It was way worse than like when you're on the phone and you're like, I gotta go, I can't find my phone, or you know. Yeah. That classic dream, or that classic.
I did that with my keys like just the other day.
Yeah.
Like, I got out of my car when I got home, and I was like, where did I leave my keys? Ooh.
Yeah, where's my stupid car?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm inside of it. Driving down the road.
Yeah. So we're back at my house now.
We did it.
That drive went pretty easy, talking about scary stuff the whole time.
I think we got some good quality spooky audio today.
Yeah, this is a very good Halloween type episode, and we probably won't record again before Halloween.
No, I doubt it. I mean, Halloween's right around the corner.
This will be our Halloween episode.
Yeah, we'll have to have a Thanksgiving episode.
Yeah, we could try.
Or we should have an early November at least to get the holidays in.
Oh yeah, we need to do our monthly holiday thing.
Yeah.
I think the next one that we're going to plan is Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh yeah.
So
in the Quad Cities, right?
Tease that now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're going to do that with David Clare, who's been on our show and your show and my show.
Yes,
so
all the shows.
The whole system of shows.
You have to listen to all the shows in order to understand the storyline.
There's a real continuity going on here. So that's a good segue into plugging our shows. So,
yeah. So here's the shows you need to listen to in order to understand what you just heard.
I run a concert series and radio show with my friend Carlos Catayo Solaris. It's called iHearIC. It's all about local Iowa City artists and musicians. And we do a radio show every Sunday on KRUI. That's the local college station. It's at 4 p.m. And I also release it as a podcast afterwards every time. And it's called iHearIC Radio, and the concert series is every month. Our next show is November 2nd at the Java House here in Iowa City. And if you want to help us out paying people to play at those concerts, we have a Patreon page, patreon.com/iHearIC.
Perfect.
I think that's all my plugs for now.
Cool. And then I'll tell you that I have a podcast called Welcome to My Show. And it's a quote-unquote comedy show where I just do whatever the heck I want. Yeah. And you can find that on iTunes and wherever. And Facebook.com/Welcome to My Show podcast.
It's a very free-form show.
Yeah.
It used to be about experts, I remembered today.
It did. And I think I might go back to finding some people to interview about expertises, but it's not going to be a general rule.
Yeah.
Just a random occurrence.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah.
And like Michele was on the last episode of iHearIC, so if you like her voice, you can hear more on my show.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
But way more on her show, obviously.
Oh yeah. It's majority my voice on my show.
Yeah, and it's a majority my voice on my show, but
yeah,
a little bit of my voice on her show also.
Yeah.
And a little bit of her voice on my show also.
We like to throw voices around.
Yeah.
It's like trading cards, but with our voices.
Yeah, and we also, on the last iHearIC, I pressured David Clare into starting a puppet podcast, which is probably going to happen, I think, at this point.
I mean, he's gotten a lot of
there's a lot of ideas
for puppets.
Yeah, so that's going to be a show about like all sorts of media featuring puppets.
Oh, I have a question.
Puppet movies, puppet TV shows,
Is Gritty a puppet?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Gritty, the new Philadelphia Flyers NHL mascot. I think that really counts as a puppet, right?
Yeah.
Because there are Muppet characters that are like that, where it's a person in a suit.
It's like a full suit. But
and I think
it's still a puppet.
If you count as a Muppet, then you're a puppet, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I did look up Binya Pollywog, and he technically is a full body puppet.
Yeah.
So,
that's a guy in a suit.
So mascots are also full body puppets.
Yeah. Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Okay, well, thanks for listening to the show. Go check out the Marengo Haunted Barn.
It's pretty
sometime
sick.
This month. I think they're open Fridays and Saturdays. And they open at 7. We got there at about 7:15, and they
still were not
hadn't opened yet. But, you know.
But they had the spooky sounds going. The porta potty was ready.
Mm-hmm.
So, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's pretty scary. It's pretty dark. It's pretty narrow.
It's good stuff.
Lots of people yelling at you and bumping into you.
Yeah.
We sort of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'd say I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I haven't had an experience like that in a long time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
So,
good to get a little spooked.
Yeah, so go
Hollered
check that
at.
out. Tell your friends about this show. Review us on iTunes.
Yeah, do it.
Do all the shit that other podcasts tell you to do, but for our show.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So if you're
Do
reviewing,
what they say, but just for us.
if you're reviewing like a real podcast, you could also put in one for us too.
While you're in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And send
Throw
us
us a bone.
send us an email
Oh,
about
yeah.
whatever you want. If you want us to talk about something on this show,
We'll
if
talk
you want
about
us to
it.
go somewhere. We want to do movies once the
Mm-hmm.
winter comes around, so if there's a movie you want us to watch while we talk to each other, that would be fun.
Yeah, all suggestions welcome.
I'll just give you my email address.
Yeah, do
It's
it.
less cumbersome. It's justinkcomer@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Put impedecast in the subject line so I know to delete it immediately.
That's good. Yeah.
All
All right. We did it.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.